question I get asked often is, do I need to hold these threads when I start to sew? Well, back in the day, you might have felt like you needed to, but on the Singer Confidence machines, the needle stops in the up position every time we end a seam. So the needle is at the right position to start the next seam, and so is the take-up lever positioned at the top of the seam. So when we pull it out, we cut our threads. As long as that first stitch is taken on fabric, not like before the fabric, you will find that you do not have to hold those threads when you start to sew. Here's why you probably did, is possibly on other machines, remember the ones that are not electronic, they stop wherever the needle stops. So sometimes when you turn the hand wheel, you bring the needle up, but you don't actually bring the take-up lever to the highest position. So that means that when you go to start the next seam, it's still trying to finish the stitch from the previous seam. And that often is when the thread gets pulled out of the needle. So if you held on to them, that didn't happen. So with this machine, here is what I would recommend, is that you always let the needle just finish at the highest position, because that's correct. When you take it out, put it back in, you're at the beginning of right where that next stitch needs to be taken. You really rarely ever need to turn this hand wheel unless you're trying to position the needle to start on an exact point. And I do that sometimes, but really when I'm at the end of the seam, you don't have to reach over here to turn it. You can just go ahead and lift up your presser foot and cut your thread.